Schaefer. What's this doing in this pen? Take this off. This can go in a Schaefer pen. Is this a Schaefer? Do a little switcheroo here. Come on, fit in there, god damn you. Okay, the Schaefer in the Schaefer pen, and the off-brand in the off-brand. This pen did have a nib that I'm setting off to a. Is there a crack in this thing? There is a crack. So we'll stay in here. This one will go to a client. Big monster stub nib made of a Victorian dip pen nib that was broken. Okay. Okay, what do we have here? This is another stub. Not very flexible. Stays there. Okay, now my hands are a mess. Okay, you're going to show me through your pens there. don't mean to shout nastily like that, but glad you got to go to the pen show. Let's see these pens. Can you make it so your camera can aim down so I can watch you write with them? Not that I don't want to see your pretty face, but a pretty face is only so pretty, you know?
Let me get my audio situated here.
So how long a trip was that to get to where you had to go for the show?
Oh, the pen show is about like an hour and 15-minute drive from where I live. So it was a bit of a haul, but it wasn't terrible.
And are you able to actually drive, or did someone have to drive you?
I drove on the way there, and I actually had my mom go with me. She drove on the way back for me.
Oh, good.
Because I kind of needed a co-pilot, because I figured after walking around for a bit, I would be pretty worn out, and I was correct in that assumption.
Well, I would think. I mean, it's a pen show is one of the most uncomfortable. It's not as uncomfortable as being on an inside seat between two fat people on an airplane, but it's almost as bad. It's just uncomfortable, and you're bending over.
That was my problem, is having my cane, and I'm trying to lean over and look at everybody's wares spread out on the table. And after about 20 minutes of that, that's about all I could handle.
Oh. Well, there are some of us in the profession who've learned the lesson that Susan Worth, I don't know if she taught me it, but I knew that by raising your table, and she would bring PVC pipes that she would be able to slip on the legs of the exhibit table to raise the entire table up.
To actually lift them up
to a height similar to a counter height that you'd see at a pen shop. So you didn't have to bend over to use the pen or bend over to see the pen.
A few people had like upright displays, and those were awesome. I could stand there and look at everything on an upright display.
Yeah, upright displays are great for looking at the pens, but for trying them out, it's a little hard because you sometimes have to slip the pen out of the thing, and you could knock other ones over or whatever. So by again raising the table up that's usually the way that I do it, the way I go. So,
well, anyways, I hope you're not too disappointed, because I really didn't buy too many pens, but the pens that I bought were expensive, very expensive.
Why would that disappoint me?
But I think the quality is a little higher, because that's the whole thing I wanted to do with my collection anyways, was get rid of,
lesser versions of something.
45s and convert them into 2 or 3 better pens. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Well, this is the first thing that I found, and I bought this from. There's a guy that I buy pens from. His shop name is called Midnight Pens.
Okay.
And he's on Etsy.
Okay.
And he's actually from Columbus, so he's here in Ohio where I live. And I got to meet him, which was really cool too. So,
okay, good.
But anyways, he sold me this.
A Schaefer snorkel in the box with a blue something, purple something. I don't know what that means. What does that mean, Garrett? I can't see
Personal signature.
Oh, okay. Nice.
This is the version of the snorkel There's two of these. There's one called the Signature, and there's another called the Autograph.
Okay.
And this one, this band is solid 14 karat gold.
Yeah. Yeah.
And it was meant to have your signature engraved on it, but
Sure.
this one's unengraved.
Okay.
Which makes it a little rarer, I guess.
It's I think if I was buying a present for you, how would I get your signature without you knowing I was going to give that to you? So I think
Well,
they were
that's the
quite.
thing. From what I know, you bought this pen and then it came with a card, and you
Yeah.
wrote your signature on the card, and then you sent the whole thing back to Schaefer,
Yeah.
and then they would engrave it for you and send it back
Yeah.
to you.
Well, it's the doing that probably didn't happen as much as it happened. You know, do I really want my pen on my signature on the thing, or do I want my name on it, or do I want my initials, or what is it that I might want on this thing?
Yeah.
Often they were probably given as a gift. Like a couple of people have asked me to create a monogram to be given as a gift, and I'm shy about doing that because what me and the gift giver might come up with may not be the taste of the person who's getting it.
The actual client is one step removed,
is removed, and
you're kind of working blind.
And a monogram, I mean, first of all, having monogram stationery requires a certain kind of personality that not everyone is.
Yeah.
And to I would be, even though I design monograms a lot, wouldn't ever think of using a monogram stationery on my own.
I think you can just see it there. The little band
14
is
karat.
14 karat.
Yeah. Anyway, those pens are lovely. I love them when they are monogrammed, as much as actually I prefer them when they
had someone's name on it. I would have bought it just the same.
Yeah, I like often when I see a cartouche, especially one that's square, if it's just an area of plain stuff, that doesn't bother me. But if it's an area that has no engraving on it, or a square around a blank thing, I think what's missing. And a band
it does
like
look
that,
unfinished.
A band like that is fine without a name on it, but something like this, for example, that has a area that's
it's clearly intended to have something
everything
there.
here is all la-di-da, and then there's this non-la-di-da-ness, and that would be, when I see those empty, it just seems funny looking.
Yeah, it feels unfinished.
Yeah.
But this particular set, the reason I bought it, the pen is like nearly mint. It's like 9.5 out of 10. The pencil, though, actually appears to have been used a bit.
Okay.
And I actually had to fix the pencil. Okay. It had the eraser stuck in the cap, which that's always fun to get out.
Yeah.
And I made a new eraser for it. So
nice.
There was a pencil lead jammed in it too, so I had to fix the mechanism. But
they they're not easy to fix, those pencils.
No, and they're so tiny and skinny, they're not even that great to use.
No, they're very hard to use, I find.
Yeah.
I find them very uncomfortable, actually, to use. Okay, what else did you get?
Well, I got 4 pens in total, so I just showed you the one.
Yeah.
Let me grab the other one here. My poor back is still pretty stiff. I got this.
Okay, good.
Yeah, brown stripe desk pen. I got the matching tulip, but it's not good for anything anymore because it was yanked off the base. Because there's like a little spline in here that it's supposed to be crimped on.
Oh, I see. Yeah.
Yeah. So I mean, this really isn't useful for anything anymore.
Well,
but I got this for $40, so I figured.
Don't throw it out. there could be a way of finding in fact, I probably have a thing that it would go on a base, and
Mhm.
you could certainly affix it to it somehow. It may not screw on the way it was supposed to, or however, but there might be a way to glue it on something.
But this one has the shorter 79
Yeah.
nib on it,
Yeah.
and it still has the sticker.
Oh, yeah. When I see stickers, I get sad because I want to take them off, and some people don't.
I basically bought it because it had a decent nib on it, and it was a brown stripe one, so
yeah,
I can use it for parts, have it fixed. I can do whatever I want with it.
Don't just leave it the way it is, and we'll get you a base for it somewhere.
I'm gonna go up the levels here.
Okay.
I finally got one of these.
I saw that in your picture. So a Maxima.
I got a Maxima.
Mm-hmm.
I looked around and there weren't a whole ton of Maximas there. There was a lot of Vacuumatics though. You had your pick of the litter for normal Vacuumatics. Everything from first, second, and third gens, all up and down. But the pickings for Maxima was a little slimmer. Only a few guys had some. But I was basically choosing between this one and a silver striped one.
Yeah.
And I chose this one. This one is it's a 1940 second gen with the speed line, and the filler is in excellent condition.
Good.
It's got okay transparency. You can still see through it. It's inked up though, so you can't tell. This one's got some guy's name on it.
Yeah, what guy is that? What
is Harry M. Knight.
Huh.
And it's a really well done engraving. It's real shallow.
Okay.
But anyways, the reason I picked this one is, one, it was black. I love black pens.
Yeah.
Two, it's in really nice condition. It still has a decent amount of its original silver plating on the nib.
Yeah.
And two, it's like a medium stub.
Nice.
So I was walking around with my loop, picking up pins and looking at the nibs. And more than a few times, I was like, "Oh, this one's stubby," or "This one's," And the the dealer there at the table would be like, "Oh, let me look at that."
Yeah, because they they had no clue what kind of nibs.
They didn't even know what kind of nib was on the pen.
No.
That was the only criticism that I would have, is a lot of the guys that had huge spreads of vintage pens. And I would say the split was about 50-50 between vintage and modern.
Yeah.
There's even some people that all they sold were ballpoints, and that's cool too. Yeah, the guys.
Your gripe was that they didn't know what the nibs were?
No, my gripe is that they were collector pieces. They didn't have no ink, no paper. You weren't meant to test the pens. You were buying it because you needed XYZ pen for your collection.
I see.
And for me, I'm like, I want to use these things.
Well, Nick certainly has a setup that's for users. I think Mike Daigle, did you meet him?
You know what? It was such a blur. I was only there for 2 hours. I barely got a couple people's names.
I rarely look up. I people, when my ex-boyfriend and I would go antiquing, he'd say, "Oh, did you see so-and-so at a table?" And I said, "No, what was it?" And he said, "Well, has gray hair and one eye is missing and he has a red beard or something." And I'd say, "What was he selling?" Don't look at their faces. What was he selling?
Too, a lot of guys have tables and they have no signs, no things draping over the table like, "I am from XYZ pen store." It's just a dude with a tray of tape, tray of pens in front of him.
I don't have a thing for me either. I've designed them for other people, but if I went to a show where people didn't know me, I might have a sign that would explain who they're looking at. But often, you're looking down the entire time, and you go from left to right or right to left, and you don't bother even to look up to see where you're going. You just shuffle left or shuffle right, and then you're looking at a new bunch of pens. So
You were talking about bands that have,
cartouches, yeah,
yeah,
empty
Vacuumatics
bits,
have that little square on them.
yeah.
Yeah, it was a cool experience. I really enjoyed it. It was very overwhelming. It was quite crowded. Um, it was hard to get one-on-one personal time with the person selling pens because there'd be 3 or 4 people standing at one table looking at stuff.
Yeah.
So to even ask a question about something you were looking at, you felt like you were interrupting their conversation,
Yeah, it is tough to 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 butt in sometimes, and
But I'm definitely glad I did it. And
well, I'm glad
oh,
you did as well.
I'll even tell you the prices I paid. I got this for $150.
Okay, good.
This snorkel, which is normal snorkels that are restored, sell for about $150 now if they're in really good condition.
Yeah,
So to get the
no,
one
that's
with the
good.
gold trim for that price is pretty good.
Yeah, I think so.
The Maxima was $400,
Okay,
which that's not a
it's
great
good.
price. It's not terrible. It's kind of in the middle.
Yeah,
And this is the last pen that I bought.
yeah, and that's Omos or something.
This is an ASC, uh, Armando Simoni Club, and it's an Italian company, and it's
Okay,
made out of the Arco celluloid,
okay,
and it
so
looks
that,
like tiger's eye.
and that's modern-ish.
Yes, this is a brand new pen, and it's just a normal. They call it a piston fill, but I'm pretty sure it's just a little captive converter in here.
Uh,
Uh,
well, can't you open it up and see?
I don't think so,
Oh, okay.
but it's just got like a normal. They call it a fine, but it's, to me, it's a medium.
Yeah.
14 karat nib. It's got an ebonite feed. It's a really great writing pen, but the literal whole reason I bought this pen is because of this material. I don't know what it is, but I think this is the most beautiful stuff to make a pen out of in the world.
It is pretty sexy. I'm not. I'm not necessarily fond of that coppery orange color,
Mhm.
but
I love it.
if that were grays, bluish grays, maybe I would like it more. But I mean, I don't dislike it. It's very pretty.
Yeah, but it's got a little roller clip like a wall,
Yeah, like a wall. Yeah,
and
like
it's
a
got the
Doric.
little Greek key band like
Yeah,
a wall.
Doric-y.
Doric,
Yeah,
yeah, it's faceted like a Doric. It's a
yeah.
big pen, but this one's like a step down from the really huge ones they make.
Is that
Um,
sort of about the size of the Maxima you got?
it's in the same ballpark. Well, no, not really.
In terms of thickness, I guess.
Yeah, in terms of thickness, it's pretty comparable, but it is a bit longer.
Okay.
But obviously, this isn't the pen you'd ever need to write with it posted. Like in my hand, it fits pretty daggone good.
Yeah. Cool.
To me, this pen feels like a 146 Mont Blanc in my hand.
Okay.
It's big, but it's not ridiculous. But yeah, this pen was an eye-watering $956.
Okay. Well, I'm glad I'm sitting down and it's your eyes that are watering.
Yeah.
No, it's I pens that are found at a pen show these days that cost more than, well, anyway, any pen can surprise me in terms of the value that or the price that's on them. I generally I know that if I saw a blue duofold or even a red duofold senior, I know
Mhm.
that that's more than I want to spend on a pen. Um, only because I don't need one for my collection, and I'm buying these for resale. So, and not resale in the sense where I'm going to triple my money and charge a lot of money for it. It's just that I'm selling 90% of the customers I have are still the users, and they don't need a big pen. They don't need a pen that has a clip. They don't care about teeth marks. So I don't look at the high end stuff so much anymore. So all of those prices might be right on or cheap or 3 times more expensive than, than they should be.
Yeah.
I wouldn't know
And
that. I wouldn't know.
like
But
this obviously is by a fairly wide margin the most expensive pen I've ever bought and probably will ever buy.
yeah, no, that's
But the
pretty
thing is,
expensive.
I wanted one of these pens, an Arcos Celluloid. It was like 20% off at the show because this pen is MSRP $1,200. And I got it for $956 out the door, no tax or anything.
Uh,
And pens like this are exclusive enough to where I could very easily keep this pen for a year and probably resell it for what I paid, if not a little more.
oh, good.
So
Well, it's nice when you're buying a pen that won't lose value on it. And
yeah, this is certainly a pen like that.
there was a pen I bought years ago, 10 years ago maybe or longer, for $1,000 or 1,200, I forget now which. And it's a pen that I saw on eBay, buy it now for 800. So
Hmm.
I may have overpriced way back when, or maybe someone found a shitload of them and they're no longer as valuable or whatever. Um, but I don't know.
But the pen show was super cool. I'm glad I went. I'll definitely try to make it next year as well. Maybe even
Well,
I'll be able to stay a little longer. I don't know.
I think if you were to go there and take a room, go there for the first day, spend as much time as you can then go up and take a rest or do what you need to do to recoup, go back
My
later
main
in the
problem
day.
with that is that's a great idea. I'm not able to sleep in a hotel bed.
Oh, that's right. You need your chair.
Yeah, that's my problem with getting a room.
Um, ask to go to the Lazy Boy recliner store in town and
Yeah, maybe I'll have
say,
to do that.
say can I sleep in your window overnight?
Can I sleep in the lobby?
So, uh, there might be, I mean, there might even be hotels that have setups like that. I know that there are a number of people who uh, can't sleep in a bed, and they need to be sort of upright for whatever reason. There might be actual rooms that you can find at a hotel that have that.
I mean, there's some hotels that you have like recliner chairs and stuff in the room, but determining that beforehand is a little difficult.
Well, I would think that you could, again, if you
Yeah,
asked. I
you could
want to
just
stay at your
ask. Yeah.
hotel and I can't sleep in a bed. I have a back injury and I need to sleep in like a lazy boy. Oh, yes, we have rooms like that, sir. Or we have room, they might not list them that way, but they might say we got 6 rooms that have recliners in them. We'll
But
book
it
one
was
of
tons
those
of
for
fun.
you.
I mean, in the first 10 minutes I was there, I saw every rare color snorkel they ever made. I
Even
saw,
that, even that sage color that they don't.
yeah, the
It's hard to come by.
buckskin, the mandarin, the red, Fiesta
Oh,
red, the sage, the fern, they were all there.
oh, good.
And it was cool though. I got to see a lot of stuff that I've only ever seen in pictures,
Yeah,
and pick it up and hold it and look at it. And
good.
well, I hate to run so quickly on you,
No,
but
I need to run as well. I'm trying to get my act together here. So I just wanted to see those pens in person
Yeah,
And
well, it's the closest thing to in person, but yeah.
well, closest thing to in person, yes. Okay, well, be good. I'm going to get
All
back
right,
to my
take
work
care.
here. See ya.
Bye bye.
Bye.